Hey guys, welcome back to Andrew's Aviation, and here's that really special episode I told you guys about last week. So today, we'll be flying the Ford Trimotors, you can see right there. And right now we're in Niles, Michigan. It's a special chance to ride the Ford Trimotor because they're coming to the Midwest. So let's get to it. For those unfamiliar with Niles, Michigan, John Tyler Airport is only a small municipal airport dedicated to private flights and has no commercial service. This day, however, was special as the Experimental Aircraft Association was touring one of their Ford Trimotors around the Midwest. Our Trimotor that we will be flying today first flew on August 21st, 1929, registered as November Charlie 8407, and flew under the Eastern Air Transport Service, which later became Eastern Airlines. Alright guys, we just got our tickets, and we signed a little bit of paperwork, and in a few minutes, they said we'll be ready to go, so it'll be really exciting to get on one of these things. Yeah, these airplanes are actually really old, so there's a few waivers you have to sign, but anyone at any age can buy a ticket. As you guys can probably hear in the background, there's a lot of wind that day, so our flight had to stay on the ground until the winds calmed down. But in the meantime, anyone was free to walk around and explore the airplane, so let's do just that. The first thing you'll notice as you walk is the three Pratt & Whitney R985 engines. The engines on the Ford Trimotor actually have an interesting history. Many know that the plane was given 3 engines due to the unreliability of engines during the 1920s. Able to safely land on only one engine, 3 engines made the Ford Trimotor one of the safest airliners of its time. This made a plane popular among airlines and passengers. Something else that many will notice is the control wires are on the outside of the aircraft. This was common for many planes at the time, but if a rock came flying at you and cut one of the wires, it probably wasn't a good flight. Here you can see that it says US Mail on the side. Now many airlines of the time only made money based on the subsidies given by the government for mail transport, as passengers were very costly and it was ridiculously expensive to fly just about anywhere in the 1920s. Another odd feature about an airplane flying around in today's times is the engine gauges being on the engine support beams. As the pilot, to see things like engine pressure, oil pressure, and RPM, you have to look out your side window. Another recognizable feature of the Ford Trimotor is its corroded metal skin. This design was included as the plane was designed as a whole itself to mimic the Junker Ju-52, another German plane of similar design. So, of course, the Ford Trimotor was given the same skin. One last fun fact until we board. Now our Ford Trimotor, November Charlie 8407, has had a long history of owners as seen on the plaque here. Feel free to pause the video to learn about where the aircraft was and when. And be sure to check out the link I provided in the description. Alright guys, time to board. It's gonna be fun. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. You enjoy your ride.
Oh, I definitely
I just
will.
took one. It's just great. All right. You say we got one more person? One more coming.
Now it's quite obvious that these seats aren't from the 1930s, but they were around from I'd say the 1960s and are pretty comfortable. They are, however, a major improvement from the wicker chairs used on many airliners back in the day. But with that, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of those sweet Pratt & Whitney engines. As we were enjoying fantastic bird's eye views of Michigan and the sounds of those Pratt & Whitney engines, the engines are so loud that you actually can't talk to the person next to you or listen to music or really do anything. but it's not like you'd need to anyways, as you're too busy taking pictures and enjoying your once-in-a-lifetime flight. The flight itself, though, is very short. We climbed, did 4 right turns, and then descended right back into Niles, which I have to say is a very interesting approach, because we flew 40 feet over a softball game on final. Out of all the flights I've ever done in my life, I have to say this one is my absolute favorite. There's nothing like flying on a vintage airliner, and I was so lucky to see that the Ford Trimotor was coming to the Midwest and that I was able to actually get a ticket. Now the prices of these tickets aren't exactly cheap. They're about $70 for an adult, but how often do you really get to ride a Ford Trimotor? I think it's worth every penny.
Alright. Yay.
You know, I really gotta say, that was extremely fun. I've never done anything like that before, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. So, yeah, if you ever get a chance to get on one of these, definitely do it. It's worth the money. And now a little bonus footage. This was the last flight of the day, so the Trimotor had to be parked in the hangar. And it was really cool to see a kid in the captain's seat, who was about 12 years old, get to start up the engines and taxi the plane to the hangar. As the plane taxis off into the non-existent sunset, I will end the video here. Now be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and if you didn't enjoy the video, go ahead and give it a dislike. It's great feedback. Now as always, have a wonderful day everyone.